It's Muzz here, and I recently tried out a new app called NGL, which you've probably seen, where you're allowed to share anonymous messages with people. I thought it'd be a bit of a laugh, and I'd seen a couple of other ASMR artists do it, so I thought I'd give it a try. And some of the messages were pretty interesting. Some of them were quite serious. Some of them were kind of silly. Some of them were, you'll see. So I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'll talk about them as I go, and just see if there's something I could talk about, prompt me to talk about on whatever topic. So it's going to be all over the place. So let's get straight into it. First message. Share an opinion that will get you cancelled was the prompt for all of these. The first one was, dude, I think wah. There's not a whole lot to say about that one, to be honest. So let's move on to the next one. The Office is so overrated. That's got a couple of layers in it for me, because obviously I'm from Scotland, and we have the original Office. Personally, I think the original and best, personally. And I definitely don't think it's overrated. If anything, I think it's still underrated, and it holds up today. But the US one, I hated it when I first saw it. I didn't hate it. I just thought, it's shiny and colourful and kind of not in line with the original cringe, depressing sort of type of comedy that the original Office was all about. Having said that, I think it did develop into something, and obviously was way more successful than the British one. It lasted a hell of a lot longer and launched the careers of quite a few people. So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that one right now. But valid opinion. The next one is, Mark Zuckerberg is a robot. Mark Zuckerberg is a robot. I think I see where you're coming from, whoever wrote that. I don't know what there is to say about that really too much, but he definitely does come across as quite a rigid individual. However, I do think we have to say that most people who have created something that has changed the world, for better or worse, tend to be not your everyday human, and tend to be quite weird, if nothing else. And I have nothing against weird. So if Mark Zuckerberg is a robot, sure, let's go with that. The next one is Englishman. Scotland is the Canada of England. Scotsman, no, England is the Mexico of Scotland. Quite like that. However, there is a little nitpick there, and it's a personal nitpick because I've come across this so many times in my life, and I'm really politically fussy about this one, as it should be Scotland is the Canada of the United Kingdom, and England is the Mexico of the United Kingdom, or something like that, because it suggests that Scotland is part of Canada, and I can't. It suggests that Scotland is part of England, and I can't have that. No Scottish person would ever accept that in a million years. England is England, Scotland is Scotland, the whole thing is the UK. And I've probably ruined the joke. I'm sorry if I've over-explained and gone down a rabbit hole that I didn't have to, but it's just, baggage that comes with Scottish people, I'm sorry. But I do understand it and I do quite like it. In many ways, Scotland is sometimes seen as the slightly more sane northern neighbour. Which actually is a compliment, right, though? See, I would read the first part as a compliment. And then obviously the second part is an insult to England. For some reason. No, Mexico, I'm sure I've never been. But if it's an insult to England, that's obviously in line with my culture as well, so that's fine. This one is absolutely shocking, and I can't believe somebody wrote this. Pizza is disgusting. I think that comment, I think that message is disgusting, personally. I mean, there's controversy and there's bold statements. And then there's that. Can't have that. This is a good one. I like this one. I think it's okay that if you are racist, homophobic, sexist during your teenage years or your past, and you've made genuine, conscious effort to apologise to those you may have harmed, and have changed your behaviour completely, there is no reason you should be ostracised and shunned in your future. Absolutely, completely agree with that. I sometimes think I am so lucky to be the age that I am, because I said all sorts of stupid, drunk, daft stuff back then, which more than likely crossed various lines, but nobody had a camera pointed in my face for it to be recorded for all time, and I got an opportunity to learn and grow from that. And right now, or at least for the last 10, 15 years, stuff follows you around forever. And I don't blame the people who say stuff when they're immature, or even just being ignorant, uneducated person, which can happen at any age, by the way. It's not like there's a cut-off point of 21 and then after that you have to say everything right. I mean, there's morons who are old and there's morons who are young and everything in between. So I totally agree with that, and I don't, bear in mind these are all anonymous, I don't know who wrote that, but I really like that one. Let's get to the next one. This is a US specific one, I like this one. A physical border between Mexico and the US is absolutely necessary for safety and sanctity of country, come legal or not at all. I really like that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I like the sentiment, because I live in Canada, and so we see, and the thing is with the internet, it doesn't matter where you live. You could live in Malaysia or an island in the Pacific and you could still just be up to speed with the US border crisis as anyone else, except for those on the ground, of course. I think the US gets a very hard time about its border. I like borders. I've crossed them many times. I've immigrated 3 times, and I've gone through mountains of paperwork and a fair amount of cash doing it. I think borders are important. I don't think we should have open doors at all. I think there should be managed immigration. And the thing is, we do. And every country does. Any country that criticises the US for not letting in the immigrants across rivers or over barbed wire and just coming in are hypocritical, because every other country in the world practices it. Britain has its own unique problems, but it's an island, so naturally there's a boundary there which makes it nowhere near as bad as what happens in the United States. Canada has an incredibly strict border security, not physical, but legal. You try and immigrate to Canada, it's not easy. You've got to tick a lot of boxes and jump through a lot of hoops. That's normal. And any sovereign country, any sovereign state, sovereign nation is only sovereign if it has a strict border. It just does. At least strict to a point. That doesn't mean non-compassionate and that you should just turn people around. And I don't think a wall, especially with the US geography, is necessarily going to work anyway. I mean, you'd have to build it across a lot of mountains. But, look at Poland. They have a physical border. The eastern Baltics are getting pretty fussy about their physical border with Russia and Belarus. You look at Finland. I mean, these are all nice countries. They're not right-wing conservative a-holes. They shouldn't be conflated. A border is good for multiple reasons. For crime and health. It's like a bulkhead on a ship. One compartment starts to flood, you shut the door, so the rest of the ship doesn't sink. It's just basic stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm all for borders. I mean, there should always be a legal avenue to emigrate, but you don't have the automatic right of entry into someone else's community, or someone else's home, or someone else's country. I do support that. So I'm glad I got that one. I know that'll be controversial for some people, but and I could go into that more if you're interested. If you're interested in hearing my incredibly important opinion about that. What about opening OF, which I'm assuming is OnlyFans? Well, I've got a surprise for you. I'm joking. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not going to lie though. There has been times when finances have been a bit tight and I've thought, maybe somebody would pay to see some photographs of a middle-aged grey-haired man. A fleeting thought here and there. But so far, I've decided not to do it. I don't think it would be a very good example for my children right now, but maybe once they're older and I'm older, and I don't care so much, who knows? You're very smart. Thank you. You spelled you're wrong. So it's wrong. The wrong you're. But thank you very much. I think only changing your underwear 3 times a week is fine. I mean, right away the answer should be that is awful and unhygienic. But you know what? I'm gonna have a risky reply. If you live in a climate where it's very dry and maybe you moisturise or whatever, and you don't have a lot of physical work and you don't sweat very much, maybe we could stretch it to 2 days. What do you think? Can we compromise on 2 days? 3 times a week. Hang on, that is every 2 days, isn't it? So 3 times a week. 7 days. I'm not good at math really, but say you change it on the Tuesday, then the Thursday, then the Saturday, So it's about roughly every 2 days. So you know what? If you are able to do it and it doesn't smell and it doesn't get gooey, go for it. Napoleon Dynamite sucks. I have a lot of sympathy for this one. I remember when it came out, and I was living in New Zealand at the time, and all my friends at work were quoting it every 5 minutes, and I felt like they were the cool kids quoting these quotes from the latest cool film. And I watched the film and I thought, it's alright. It's alright. I'm not. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it sucked though, but I definitely think it was a bit overrated personally. Taking a shite is relaxing. Can't you argue with that? Can't you argue with that at all? Then again, there are different types of. Let's move on. What's the next one? Okay. The magical forces of the universe are calling for you to do a Brunjolf cosplay. There are many opportunities to be found through making Thieves Guild inspired content. Will you answer the call, or will you let the wisdom fall to the sideline? I feel incredibly out of touch reading this comment. I have no idea what Brunjolf is. But I appreciate that somebody out there thinks I would be good in that role as a cosplay, so thank you. But I don't know what it is because I'm an old man. Right. A few more to go. Taylor Swift is overrated and pineapple on pizza is good, actually. Yeah, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I do like a lot of her songs. I actually got Anti-Hero stuck in my head for about 2 weeks and till it annoyed me, and then I lost it, and then I started listening to it again. I still like it. And I like a few of her songs. I'm not fussed, but I am 100% in support of pineapple on pizza. And if you're not, you can unsubscribe from this channel right now. I love pineapple on pizza, and I will not budge on that. Dr. Pepper is gross. Well, whoever wrote that can definitely unsubscribe from this channel. That is a ridiculous statement to make. Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. It's a good ASMR word. Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. Yep. Both Israeli and Palestinian lives matter. Of course, I agree with that. I agree with that too. Not more one over the other, and I am not going to get into this right now because I already did a video on this before. So feel free to go back and watch that one if you wanted, a few months ago, right after it all kicked off. I'd smash Daddy Muzz. That's nice. That's a nice thing to read. Thank you. Alright, you haggis. Alright. Alright, you ball bag. And finally, this is the last one. You're hot as hell and I'd marry E. I'm assuming that means it'd marry me or marry you or whatever, but I'm very flattered. Thank you so much for saying that, whoever you are. I am already married. And oddly enough, I had the scariest dream last night where me and my wife were getting divorced. But then I woke up and it was fine. So reading that, I'm kind of like super flattered to read that. Thank you. But I'm not on the market, so can't do it. But thank you, very, very kind. Anyway, that's the last message, and I really enjoyed reading these on this video. I think I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to put another link up on, actually, the original link was on Twitter, and I recently just quit Twitter, and I'm not calling it X. I was getting so deep into the rabbit hole of Twitter, and I had to sit back and think, this is actually bothering me. Like, it's actually eroding my mental health. It's good for keeping up with stuff that happens right away, like disasters, news and all that. I'm a news junkie, so bit of a political animal, so I miss it for that. But I'm happy to sacrifice that if I don't have to put up with all the other toxic shite that goes on there, so I can't do it anymore. So I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I will post a link for more anonymous messages right here on YouTube on my community page. So if you like this video and you want to send me a message, keep a wee eye out for that link. Send me some daft messages or some serious messages, and we'll make a video out of it. Okay. Thank you for sticking with me through this little video. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you like a Scottish ASMR channel, which is somewhat scatterbrained and incoherent at times, then please subscribe. Okay, and I'll see you.